Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Sandra McKinley here at RE/MAX Integrity Real Estate in Haiti. And did you know that by Haitian law, a verbal agreement to purchase a property is valid? Let's talk about a purchase and sale agreement next. A preliminary purchase and sale agreement is a written agreement that specifies all the agreed upon terms between the buyer and the seller. And this is a written document honored by Haitian law. And we at RE/MAX are one of very few agencies that offer these agreements. We prepare them in-house and then we introduce them to the notary once our buyers and sellers have mutually agreed on a price. We help the buyer and the seller negotiate all the terms, and then we put it in writing. And there's a few very important key factors that must be in a purchase and sale agreement. By law, of course, you cannot go without including a location for the property, such as an address or mapping coordinates or some type of description that specifies where the property is located. Secondly, it must have a termination clause. I've seen a contract or two which are very, very vague and often one single page that's going around out there. They do not have a termination clause. And the reason why a termination clause is very important is because it lays down a ground. It lays down and defines what reasons a contract can be terminated by, when it can be terminated. And so if buyer or seller fail to meet the requirements within an agreement, then the contract can be nulled or void. Another way that a contract can be terminated, if in the event that there is no termination clause in the agreement, is if both the buyer and the seller both mutually agree to terminate an agreement. If they cannot reach an understanding on terminating an agreement, then it is by court order that it can get terminated. In addition to the requirements by Haitian law, here at RE/MAX, we also like to include other terms in the agreement, such as the amount of the deposit or earnest money, as you shall call it. Also, a closing date. So that way, everybody is in the clear of the timeline and the goal of by when we want to close a transaction. And this is very important because if the buyer does not meet the closing date and they are not following through with all the requirements in order to meet the closing date, the seller can claim the deposit. And this is also important because if they do not close on time because of the buyer's fault, then the seller can also put the property back on the market as quick as possible and not lose any potential buyers. For the buyer, this means that they cannot be hasty. They have to act very quickly on providing the notary with any requirements, any documentations that is necessary. Otherwise, what is very common is that if there is no closing date and there are no termination clause, a sale can last a year, 2 years, even 3 years. According to some of the stories that I've heard, a property can be under contract for quite a long time, and we want to avoid that at all costs. So these were some tips just in case you didn't know about how we do sales here in Haiti. So if you have any questions regarding a purchase and sale agreement or how we sell real estate here in Haiti, please give us a call. We have included our email. Don't hesitate to follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit like, click on the notification bell, and don't forget to share our videos to anyone that might be interested in our topics. Thank you.